Now, there was a young man named Stephen who loved going to his grandmother's house. And one of the things he always remembered at his grandmother's house is she had this old grandfather clock. And he noticed that she would bring a cup of tea and some biscuits and put it in front of this old grandfather clock on a mat. And she would do this like every day. And so Stephen says to his grandma, why do you do this? Why do you set out tea and stuff? It seems kind of odd. And she says, well, this is an old tradition from my village in Germany that when you have a grandfather clock, it keeps your ancestors' spirits in the clock. And you must give an offering every day of tea and biscuits to keep them at peace. And so he thought, oh, that's weird, but, it made her happy, so he didn't really care. Fast forward to a couple years later, she passes away, and Stephen, knew how much this old grandfather clock meant to his grandmother and didn't want to get rid of it. So he brings it to his house, and he puts it in his living room, doesn't think anything of it. But he says, I'm not going to set tea and biscuits out in front of this clock. That's, ridiculous. So the first night he has this clock in his house, it's late at night, and all of a sudden at 12:31, this grandfather clock goes whoo, 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 ding, dong, ding, and it starts going off. So he gets up, why is this clock, why is it going off at 12:31? And he goes and walks out to the clock, and, it's going off like it should every hour on the hour, but it's 12:31. And as he looks at the floor, he notices there are these wet footprints on the carpet going from the living room into the hallway. So he thinks, oh, that's strange. And he goes back to bed. And then the next day, he really is thinking about this grandfather clock. And then he remembers, wait a second, I think 12:31 is when my grandmother passed away. And she passed away in the bathtub. So that's weird that there were wet footprints. So the next night, he goes to bed. And once again, 12:31, that clock starts going off. And when he wakes up in his bed from the clock going off, he looks, and there are a room full of people standing all around him, just staring. And they have, no eyes. And he rubs his eyes really fast and kind of just, taps himself to see if he's awake. And these people just walk out one by one into the hallway and just sort of vanish. So he's terrified the next day, but he doesn't want to get rid of this grandfather clock. So once again,